Okay, thanks very much. Welcome all. Let me debrief you on the outcome of the Eurogroup meeting we had this morning. I will start with Greece, which is not only our host today, but was also our main topic today. Say a few words on Portugal. We briefly were informed on the state of play in Ukraine. Ollie will say more about that. We discussed a draft budgetary plan of Luxembourg. And finally, we took stock of the state of play on the banking union. On Greece, a statement has been distributed to you or will be distributed to you. Let me sum up the main points. We are, of course, pleased that the fourth review can now be drawn to a close. This has been an arduous process, but we have now a positive outcome. The Greek government is implementing or committed to undertake in the near term important reforms that will enhance Greece's growth potential, create job opportunities and spur investments. This includes concrete measures to liberalize transport and rental markets, to open up closed professions, as well as far-reaching energy market reforms and an overhaul of the privatization process for public, corporate and real estate assets. Subject to the implementation of these reforms, Greece will get 8.3 billion from the EFSF to be disbursed in 3 tranches over the coming month, with a first tranche of 6.3 billion at the end of April. That will allow Greece to meet its debt servicing obligations in May. And 2 further disbursements of each 1 billion will take place in June and July on the basis of the fulfillment of 6 milestones per tranche. As I've said before, growth is the only way to get employment figures up and overcome the crisis in a sustainable manner. And therefore, we had a discussion on a comprehensive Greek growth strategy. Horst Reichenbach, who is leading the task force for Greece, joined us in this discussion today. In this, we agreed that we will support Greece in its intention to develop a well-defined growth strategy, complementing the MOU. And this strategy should also be the basis to increase effectiveness in the allocation of funds from international financing institutions and the EU structural funds, as well as the coordination of technical assistance. Of course, we are still in early stages of this discussion, and we've asked the Greek government to define its growth strategy in the next weeks and months. On Portugal, we took stock of the state of play. The program remains very well on track. The economic recovery is strengthening, the stabilization of the financial sector is progressing, and yields on sovereign debt have continued to tighten. The process for completing the 11th review mission is ongoing, and a decision on the disbursement of 1.2 billion euros is expected to be taken by the Euro Working Group on the 24th of April, once prior actions and national procedures are completed. Now, there is still some time before the end of the program. As you know, it runs out on the 17th of May, and still 1 review to go. So we will come back to Portugal's exit strategy at our meeting in May, which is in the 5th of May. After the 12th and final review mission is concluded. As I said, we were informed by the Commission and the IMF on the preparation of the program in and for the Ukraine, and Ollie will say more on that after I've spoken. On the draft budgetary plan of Luxembourg, as I have mentioned after last month's meeting, we will review over the coming months the updated draft budgetary plans of member states that were still in process of forming a government when we discussed the other draft budget plans in November. Those three countries were Austria, Germany, and Luxembourg. So today we reviewed the updated draft budgetary plans of Luxembourg, which had been submitted on the 17th of March. On the basis of the Commission's assessment, which we endorsed, we were pleased to find that Luxembourg is now fully compliant with the rules of the Stability and Growth Pact. Just one remark to make there, that the Luxembourg's estimates of the growth are slightly more optimistic than the Commission's estimates for growth, so there is a reason to be a little careful there. We plan to discuss Germany's updated draft budget plans at our next meeting in May, and as soon as possible also the Austrian draft budgetary plans. Finally, from my side, a couple of remarks on the banking union. We briefly took stock of the state of play. As you know, an agreement was reached between the co-legislators on the SRM regulation with the Parliament on the 20th of March. It was confirmed by the Council on the 27th of March, and we now look forward to the final vote in Parliament on the SRM, which is foreseen for mid-April. Once this is done, we will be able to sign the intergovernmental agreement, the IGA, on the transfer and mutualization of contributions to the Single Resolution Fund. We will come back to the SRM and the IGA tomorrow in the ECOFIN, which is an informal ECOFIN, as you know, but we will take a stock of the state of play also in the ECOFIN in the presence of some representatives of the European Parliament. That's all for me. I'd like to give the floor to Olli Rehn.